Hello everyone. This tutorial that I'm about to walk through will instruct you on how to create an independently powered 2 to 10 sensor remote operated soil temperature data logger in roughly 3 hours, but faster as you practice. The data logger is powered by 2 AA batteries and records current temperature at 1 internal temperature sensor and up to 10 external sensors that will record temperature at a consistent interval. The temperature recording are accurate to 0.5 degrees Celsius between the temperature ranges of -10°C and +85°C. This data is then stored on an SD card here, a removable SD card, which can be retrieved manually from the data logger and inserted into the SD card slot on your computer. When you open the .csv file from the SD card that you eventually will pull from the logger, it will look something like this. In the first 2 columns, there will be the date and the time of the temperature reading. In the 3rd column is the temperature reading for the onboard internal temperature sensor, and on the remaining columns here are the temperature readings from the external sensors. So here I have 2 external sensors, but the logger hardware allows for up to 10 external sensors, in which case there would be 10 columns here with 1 column dedicated to each sensor. Now, the logger runs for about 2 years undisturbed using 2 lithium AA batteries if the logging interval here is set to 20 minutes, which is right now it's set to 20 minutes, but this is totally up to the user. The price of this data logger fluctuates with the price of the individual components, and shipping costs for what you see here is $43.65, and that's without shipping costs and without the cost of the external housing. All of the components and tools that are required to build one of these temperature data loggers can be found in the folder attachment labeled temp logger files, like you see here. Within this folder, in the subfolder parts, here, if you double click this, you'll find an Excel sheet labeled all tools and parts, and it is exactly what it says. It's a list of all the tools and all the parts needed to fully construct one of these temperature data loggers. If we open up this Excel sheet, you can see here under this box here, tools, we have the type of tool that you'll need, the quantity, the approximate price, and their description for the tools. And then for the parts, we have all the components listed here under the box components. We also have listed here the specifics for the custom circuit board that you would have to order. So before you begin with this process, check out this data sheet to see which tools and components you may already have. If you don't have very many tools, that's okay, but use this sheet to decide if you're comfortable with the commitment. In these next videos, I'm going to be using the Heiko FX888D soldering iron, although you can find alternatives online. Any basic soldering iron will work. And the solder that we're going to be using is going to be 60-40 tin lead solder with 1.8% flux and a 0.6 millimeter. The tools that we're going to use, the mechanical tools that we're going to use for this tutorial include are here, right here, and they include a pair of needle-nosed pliers, a pair of bent angle cutters, wire cutters. We have a crimper here, and we also have a wire stripper. And all these tools can be found in that Excel sheet labeled All Tools and Parts. On the electrical side of things, we have an FTDI friend supplied by Artifruit. We have an Arduino Uno. We have an AVR ISP shield that fits onto the Arduino Uno. We have our microchip Picket 3. And here we have our a modified ICSP socket, which you can buy online. This is just our DIY part. And then you also need the cables for your Arduino, as well as a micro USB to to hook up the micro chip Picket 3 to your computer. Okay, so if you are still with us after that brief introduction, great. In the next 5 videos, I'm going to walk you through variations of steps to get a completed data logger. So the first step that we're going to walk through, I'm going to have a separate video on ordering the components online and how to do that, where to find them. I'm going to have another video after that, which will walk you through how to prepare the temperature probes that you order. Following that video, I'll have a soldering tutorial on how to solder all the components onto the board, where they go and how to solder them. And then next, after that, the next step would be to upload the Arduino programming onto the board and successfully install the temperature probes that you made onto the board. And then lastly, there'll be a video describing how to deploy the logger, how to retrieve the data, and also an example of one type of external housing that you can use to keep your data logger out of the elements. And with that, let's get started.